Ready to do this?
Always, bro. Let's do this.
Nice. Hello, Internet. Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us.
New rules in the NFL.
My name is Darren. That's AJ. And this is the DNA Sports Recap.
Roll the intro.
Let's go ahead and move on over to the NFL. So there's a lot of news that came out in the NFL this week, so we have something to talk about.
Finally.
Which is nice. Let's go ahead and first talk about the new rules. So
A fair catch from the 25-yard line in can be brought out to the 25-yard line.
Yes.
Yep.
How much does this move the needle? Does this really move the needle?
Oh, if you're an offensive coordinator, you're super pissed about it.
Yeah.
I mean, you're pretty much taking that section of the game out, and I think that's really where this rule is kind of heading to. How long until they just eventually do away with kickoffs? Period.
Yeah. Is that what you're thinking this is? Is this just a play to see how they do that?
I mean, the rule is currently in a 1-year trial period.
Okay.
And it's funny because in 1974 they moved the kickoffs from the 40-yard line to the 35-yard line to try to increase return rates, right? Because it's one of the most exciting plays to watch in football. In that 1 year, return rates jumped from 75% to 90% returns. And then in 2016, they actually moved it again. So the rule, it went from, it was originally at the 20-yard line, they moved it to the 25-yard line. But then all teams were doing is kicking the ball straight up, trying to pin teams inside the 25-yard line.
Okay.
So they've kind of messed with this rule. It kind of went back and forth, and like I said, in 74 they were trying to increase how many balls were being returned. Then in 16 they move it back. They're trying to get teams to not return the ball as much. Mm-hmm. And now it's like they're moving that needle a little bit further that way, trying to go almost completely away from these kickoff returns, because you have such a, these high impact collisions are what all these players are trying to get away from. Especially when you have these high dollar receivers and that kind of stuff catching some of these returns. The last thing you want them to do is take an injury. I think it's definitely the league trying to improve player safety, but I think this is definitely a step towards the league doing away with kickoffs, period.
That's interesting. How would you feel about that? I mean, as far as the kickoff return, I know you mentioned it's the most exciting play in football.
My opinion on this is I think you're kind of taking some of those roster spots away from people. You know what I mean? Like, you've already got these really limited, some of these guys get their big opportunities on kickoff returns. They get to go out and block. I mean, some of these, younger guys only play on special teams and
they couldn't get
for the first couple years, that's all they're getting. Yeah, I mean, you can argue the league minimum in the NFL is like $750,000. So if you don't get to go out and block somebody for 5 seconds of the play runs,
right,
you're still making your money.
If you're even on the roster. Like, I think that's your point, right?
Yeah, exactly.
If they get rid of special teams, there's no need to run out a certain team out there specifically for that. You just have your offense, defense.
Offense, defense is, and you might have special teams for your punt returns and stuff, but like, it gets rid of that one facet. I mean, kick returns are fun to watch, man.
Yeah.
Those can swing a game, and I love watching kick returns. When you see a returner take the ball and you're like, oh, here we go.
I see this being an issue for the PA for that reason. That's why I was curious on whether or not this was for player safety and it came from the players' side, or is it the NFL trying to just cut down costs by eliminating roster spots on teams, with the owners not having to pay as much.
And I didn't dig into it that far, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, honestly, there's no way we would know. Like, there's nothing that's going to be reported.
Oh,
on
right,
so,
right.
Yeah, that would all be speculation anyway. The NFL would not leak that kind of information. All right, well, let's go ahead and talk about Roger Goodell. Now, that's on the commissioner side of things. He was brought up several times over the week. There's a lot of conversation about him being in the final year of his current 4-year or 5-year, $200 million deal.
I mean, he's been the commissioner since 2006, so he's been on probably multiple deals.
Yeah, his current deal, $200 million, and it expires in March of next year.
Yeah, currently earning $63.9 million.
Yeah, which is more than anybody else in the league. So
he's more valuable than Patrick Mahomes to the NFL. Disagree. Completely disagree.
Is he though?
Patrick Mahomes is the face of that league.
And Roger Goodell is basically the face of the owners' collective.
He is a scapegoat.
Yeah.
I mean, he's there to be a punching bag, and that's why he makes the big bucks, and I get that. But we're talking this dude makes 6 times more than Adam Silver, who's the commissioner of the NBA. And 3 times more than Rob Manfred, the commissioner of Major League Baseball.
I would argue that the NFL is worth that much more than those teams.
It definitely is.
So to me, I think it's probably relative to the league's value, I guess.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's a 5-year, $200 million contract is what he's currently sitting on. So that's impressive.
I love it, dude.
You love that he makes that much money?
Yeah, good for him.
Good for him. Good on you. 63 years old, pulling in, your age in millions.
Did you see the Matt Araiza?
Yes. Okay, let's first talk about the incident, right? So he was originally drafted by the Buffalo Bills.
Drafted in 2022. He was round 6, pick 180.
And
he played for San Diego State University. He was, in 2021, the Ray Guy Award winner, top punter in the nation. He was also a unanimous All-American in 2021, and he had 79 punts that averaged 51.2 yards for San Diego State.
All right, then obviously these allegations came out about him being involved in this situation. This was when he was at San Diego State, right?
That's correct.
And this came out after he was drafted.
Correct. Yep.
In the course of this, he was then let go from the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
In their ways, they said it's best for both him and us to part ways at this point, let him handle that situation, and then let us move on with the team, so on and so forth. So
he was found not guilty of all of these charges. There was, all the tape came back, and an eyewitness says that he'd left before any of this stuff had happened.
Yeah, about a half hour to an hour before.
Yeah, so and there was some clips and stuff that were shown, and he wasn't in any of those. So obviously San Diego State did a full investigation and found that he wasn't liable for any of that.
And then after the prosecution was shown these tapes, Matt was not in any of them. Was the case dropped at that point?
Yeah, it was dropped against him.
Yeah, that's the problem though. Is he could have just easily settled this and potentially got another shot in the NFL. There are people who've done way worse that are still in the NFL today, but he chose to not settle.
I think he did the right thing, dude.
Yeah, he could have settled for $500,000 and been like, just to have this thing go away, and he chose not to. He chose to fight.
He wanted his name. He wanted his name cleared. Yeah.
Yeah, good on him, man. And how many years ago was that?
He was drafted in 21, so he missed all of last season.
All of last season.
Yeah.
Yeah. So wow.
So and now it looks like in 23 he's going to get a chance to play. So
yeah,
I hope he does. Good luck to him.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. That's awesome.
Out with the New York Jets. Is that
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Hopefully he kept himself ready.
Oh, I'm sure he was ready. Yeah, I'm sure he's out there kicking 100 balls a day just to make sure he's ready to go back to an NFL roster. He's like, I know I didn't do anything.
Yeah, and how poised he was for this whole thing, I speaks to his character.
Absolutely.
If you're wrongfully accused of something like that you didn't do, how easy would it be just to kind of lose it a little bit, and get a little angry, a little frustrated, and make a mistake.
Yep.
The fact that he kept it together and didn't, I think that's fantastic.
Stayed with it. I love it.
Yeah, that's good on him, man. Well, here we're rooting for you here at the DNA HQ here. So,
is that what we're calling this place now? DNA HQ.
Sure. So, anything else on the NFL?
That was it, man. Those were the big events this week.
Yeah,
I feel pretty good. We actually had some stuff on the NFL this week.
It was nice to talk about. We didn't have to come with some BS thing to talk about the NFL.
Please fact check all of the things we just spoke about with the NFL. Leave any comments below on anything we jacked up.
Yeah, let us know, because apparently I can't read a stat sheet on the NFL. So, all right. Well, once again, folks, thank you for tuning in to this episode of the DNA Sports Recap. Keep in mind, if you are watching one of our videos, the full episode in its entirety will be available on YouTube underneath playlists, podcasts. That's where the full podcast episode will be. You can also find us anywhere on audio where you find your podcasts.
Yep, and if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like it, share it, subscribe to it, keep commenting. We love interacting with you guys.
Well, once again, folks, my name is Darren, that is AJ, and this has been the DNA Sports Recap.
Till next time. Couldn't remember. I was like, do I say something else? Like, share, subscribe, comment, keep engaged.